A few of our clients come to us convinced that it is their birth control that is preventing them from losing weight. And yet, they still end up making progress after a while. So was it all in their heads? Well, no, it's not that simple. Then what's the deal? Do birth control cause weight gain? And if so, which one causes the least weight gain? Who are the individuals most susceptible to it? And what, if anything, can you do to prevent it from happening to you? By the end of this episode, you'll have the answers to these questions. Welcome to the next episode of Flat Stomach, Scam versus the Real Way to Lose Belly Fat series. If you want to know when the next episode drops, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell icon. Hi Viva fam, this is Richa from CoachViva.com. Let's go.
First, our usual disclaimer. We are not doctors. This video is for educational purposes only. And if you're interested in exploring birth control options, then please consult with your doctor and see what they recommend for you. All right, with that out of the way, let's talk about birth control, why people choose it, and what does it have to do with weight. There are hormonal and non-hormonal methods of birth control. Non-hormonal birth control don't release synthetic hormones into your body, and they include barrier contraceptives like condoms and diaphragms, spermicide, and the copper IUD. Whereas hormonal birth control do release synthetic hormones into your body, and they include birth control pills, hormone-releasing IUDs, under-the-skin implants, and the patch and hormonal shot. Now, how they work is that the hormones they release either prevent ovulation from happening or it makes it really hard for a sperm to get to your uterus. So what are some reasons people would choose hormonal birth control over non-hormonal birth control? Other than the copper-based IUD, you have to remember to use the other non-hormonal methods of birth control every single time you want to have intercourse, and a lot of people just find that really frustrating and bothersome. And other than the copper IUD, hormonal birth control tend to have a much lower failure rate than the non-hormonal birth control options. For many women, they take hormonal birth control in order to help reduce or even stop certain period symptoms like bleeding or cramps or headaches. And what are the cons of hormonal birth control? Some people find that when they use it, they can experience nausea, decreased libido, breast tenderness, spotting between periods, and a host of other side effects. Although these tend to be temporary and for most people resolve within 3 months, but it varies a lot according to person to person. But the single biggest reason that women choose not to use hormonal birth control over non-hormonal birth control is because they're afraid of weight gain. But do hormonal birth control cause weight gain? And if so, why? And is there anything you can do about it? So we're going to take a look at some studies. But first, know that the average adult gains weight year over year on birth control or not. And study after study have found mostly that people on hormonal birth control don't gain weight at a significantly higher rate than people who aren't taking birth control at all. However, there are two things that hormonal birth control can cause. One is water retention, and you will see it especially in the first 3 months or so. And the second thing is an increase in appetite. Now, neither of these affects everybody. It seems to be only certain parts of the population that get affected by this. And we've seen that multiple studies show conflicting results. Some women gain weight immediately after taking hormonal birth control. Some women actually lose weight while taking hormonal birth control. And then others still, like me, see no change at all. So I've done both the birth control pill and I have a hormonal IUD right now, and I personally have not experienced either gain in water weight nor an increase in my appetite. So if you're like me and you don't experience any of these effects, great, don't worry about anything. But if you weren't so lucky, understand that there are two causes for why you might be gaining weight or might gain weight. One, and by far the most common, is temporary water gain. And if you have this, you'll typically see it in your hip, your thighs, and your breasts. So if you notice only these specific areas are getting bigger, but the rest of your body is kind of the same, you can bet it's the water gain. So this is good because it's not fat and it's temporary. I understand from a I want to look good perspective that even if it's water weight, you still may not be happy about it. So we'll talk about ways to prevent or reduce water weight later on in this episode, but do note that the water weight gain is temporary. For some people, it may go away as quickly as 1 or 2 weeks. For others, they may hold on to that water for many months. Now, the second cause for weight gain is that the synthetic hormones might increase appetites for some people, and so they will just naturally eat more. We'll cover more about what to do about your appetite increasing later on in this video as well. So stay tuned.
So which birth control is least likely to cause weight gain, water or otherwise? First, understand again that actually most people don't experience any weight gain on any of these methods. And some people may even lose weight. It's all very individual. I'm going to be talking very broadly about all of these birth control methods and what the research says about them. In terms of pills, combination pills with both progestin and estrogen have been shown to cause more water weight gain. Studies show that an increase in progesterone and estrogen can cause our bodies to retain more water. However, progesterone-only pills are associated with the least weight gain, if any at all. When progesterone is added without any estrogen, then it has almost no impact on water weight gain at all. So if you're looking for a pill which doesn't cause weight gain, then you may want to look into a progesterone-only pill. Under-the-skin implants have pretty much the same effect as pills. The primary difference is just that it's implanted under your skin, so you don't have to remember to take your pills every day. As for the birth control shot or Depo-Provera method, there have been more studies correlating the shot with weight gain, either due to increased appetite or due to increased water retention. Once again, the results were not really consistent across all studies. Finally, hormonal IUDs. There have been very few cases correlating hormonal IUDs with weight gain, and if it does happen, it happens to a very small percentage of the population, like less than 5%, and the weight gain usually goes away after 2 to 3 months, which means it was mostly water. Birth control methods aside, how do you know if you're one of those individuals who is susceptible to weight gain no matter what the birth control method they choose? Unfortunately, science hasn't found a surefire way to tell you. However, studies have found that if you have a higher starting body fat percentage, then you're more likely to gain weight on hormonal birth control methods. But this may be again because of increased appetite and therefore eating more. So it's more of an indirect causation than a direct one.
Let's learn how to troubleshoot. First thing to do is to keep a food log and see if you are actually eating more calories than you were before you went on hormonal birth control. If you haven't started birth control yet and you're considering it, then start keeping a food log right now. You can do this just for a week. Write down the foods you're eating and figure out how many calories you're eating a day on average. You don't need to do this forever. This is just for awareness so you know how to troubleshoot later on if you do gain weight. Okay, if you're already on hormonal birth control and you're gaining weight and you don't know how many calories you used to eat, I included a link in the description below to a calculator for your TDEE, which is your estimated maintenance calories that you burn every single day to maintain your current body weight. So you will use that number as a basis for a comparison. Okay, now, when you're on birth control, track how many calories you're eating for a week. Just find the average calories that you're consuming per day and then compare it to your baseline calories. Your baseline calories is whatever you were eating before you went on birth control or whatever the TDEE calculator gave you. Now, if you're gaining weight and you find that you're eating more calories than your baseline calories, then that means that your appetite probably increased and you're eating more food than you used to, which is why you're gaining weight. However, if you're gaining weight but find that you're not eating that much different than you were before, or you're eating at your TDEE, then it's almost certainly water weight that you're seeing. Now, if it's the first case, that's pretty simple. You just have to eat less calories than what you're eating right now. Go back to your baseline calories. And yes, in order to do that, that means you'll have to track your calories again so that you know that you're eating at your baseline level. But don't worry, you only have to do this until you figure out the right quantity and types of foods that works for you and still keeps you within your calorie budget. And then just get into the habit of doing that. You don't need to track and count calories forever. Now, how to transition away from calorie tracking to intuitive eating is out of scope for this video, but let me know in the comments below if that is something that you'd like to see us cover next. Now, since your appetite is probably a lot higher than it used to be, you want to stay within your baseline calories without feeling like you're starving all the time. So how to do this? First, I recommend just start by eating 10 to 20% less than you're already eating and slowly work your way down. So cut just 10 to 20%. And then ask yourself for a week if you're constantly feeling hungry, or maybe you're just feeling hungry within 30 minutes of your next meal, If you're feeling hungry within 30 minutes of your next usual planned meal, then that's okay, that's normal. You can go ahead and try to cut 10 to 20% more of your calories until you hit your target. However, if you're feeling like you're constantly hungry all the time and you can't stand it, then stop reducing your calorie count. It's time to work on bringing your appetite back down to normal. And what that means in practice is to concentrate on the food quality, or what you eat, rather than how much. Are you eating mostly foods that are high in protein, fiber, and healthy fat? Because those are the foods that are going to get you the most satiety. Aim to eat at least 80% of your meals in these high satiety foods. If you do that, you'll find that your appetite will reduce. Finally, drink plenty of water. You may need to drink more water than you used to before you went on birth control, and that's okay. Now, if after all of this you're still not making progress and the weight's not going down, please comment in the description below and let us know your situation and what's going on. And Rich and I respond to every comment, and let's see if we can work something out. Now, as for the second case, which is the water weight, that's a little harder to control, but there are some steps that you can take to minimize or lose the water weight. A lot of times the water weight will just go away on its own, but it can take months for some people. But here are some steps that you can take to minimize the water retention. 1, can you guess? It's drinking more water. Yes, drinking more water actually helps your body hold on to less water, because drinking more water makes it easier for your body to flush out and release all of that water, so it doesn't retain as much. Second, eat foods lower in sodium. High sodium food are, of course, the salty foods, but you can also find them in almost all the processed foods like chips and desserts. And you also tend to find a lot more sodium in restaurant foods, especially in the sauces that they use. This might mean that if you ate out a lot in the past, or you ate a lot of processed packaged foods in the past, you might have to cut them down now. Third, drink less alcohol. Alcohol can dehydrate your body in the short term, so you lose some water, but a lot of people find that they retain a lot more fluid the next day following a night of heavy drinking, because their body is dehydrated and so it wants to hold on to hoard, as much water as it can. Eating foods lower in carbs. For every gram of carb, our body will store 3 grams of water. So if you lower your carb intake, your body will release more water. And finally, eating foods high in potassium. Potassium is like the counter to sodium. So eating foods high in potassium like bananas, coconut water, yogurt, spinach, and various fruits and vegetables may help with water retention.
One final note on hormonal birth control methods on your body fat percentage and not just weight. Body fat percentage is the total amount of fat that you have in your body compared to your total mass. You can have a low body weight but a high body fat percentage, which is unhealthy and colloquially known as being skinny fat. This means you have a lot of fat and not as much muscle, which means you may still look okay from the outside, but you're still unhealthy. What does birth control have to do with body fat percentage? With the exception of IUD, hormonal birth control can increase the production of testosterone. And yes, women need testosterone too. Testosterone supports strong muscles and bones and increases your performance at the gym. A decrease in testosterone can lower your efficiency at the gym and also cause a decrease in your rate of muscle gain, or even worse, even increase the rate of your muscle loss. So if you notice that your body fat percentage is decreasing due to muscle loss, then start strength training and also increasing your protein intake. We go into great depth on how you can calculate your body fat percentage and what to do in the case of muscle loss in our free book, Lose Fat and Gain Muscle on Your Terms. I'll link it in the description below. If you want us to do a whole episode on body fat percentage and what to do about it, then tell us in the comment below. Now, there aren't any studies linking IUDs to decrease in testosterone because the hormonal effects of the IUD is limited to the uterus area. So if you're interested in improving your training and building muscle, then IUDs may be the way to go. Hey there! If you want to know when the next episode of Flat Stomach Scam and the real way to lose belly fat drops, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell icon. Until then, keep crushing it!